Alright, welcome to episode 1, part 5 of Two Player Tuesday.
Oh, I'm Crow Crest.
And I'm Kevlar. And we're about to blow some shit up.
That we are. Let's get this party started.
Let's get this party started. Oh, got me!
That I did.
Boom! Oh, Rip's got a new car now, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's moving on up in the world. Oh, I wish I was a car that was black. But I'm gonna paint him with my missile attack. 7 missiles.
How unsatisfactory. That upsets me.
Indeed.
That upsets me at a very deep emotional level.
Oh, yeah! Hit the warpy thing. Do a barrel roll. And have fun while you do it. Oh no! That backfired on me.
That it did.
They take that.
Look at your puny missiles.
Oh, you can see them on your screen?
Yes, look at your puny little missiles. You think you can stop the legend? Apparently you can't.
I just did.
Apparently you can stop
the legend.
You can certainly stop the legend.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. This game is really, really freaking fun for this type of age in gaming. You know, for the SNES, I do believe this was a really fun game.
I do have to say, for an SNES game, this is fairly solid. I mean, I could imagine myself having plenty of very fun hours of gameplay out of this if I were just a young child in the, you know, like the 90s or the 80s or 90s. I'm not really sure when that came out, but
right. How do you feel being the newer generation of gamer and playing this game?
I think the core mechanics have still remained relatively the same. Like, if you were to play a modern racing game, it would be probably the same principle. I mean...
Well, pretty much you wouldn't have, like, a 2D look.
Well,
you got that overview. You're more or less in the front vision.
Something I really hate about the current gaming industry is that it feels like more and more games are becoming more online focused, and they're slowly deviating away from just simple two-player games and, like, just picking up a controller and playing it, and I really don't like that.
Right, that has been really crappy. I've noticed that a lot here lately too, but I think it's more or less for the money.
It's marketing, absolutely, it's marketing. There are games that survive almost purely off of their PvP, like Dark Souls. Dark Souls survives purely off of its PvP and its difficulty.
And what about its two-player element? Can you play 2 players on that? Because I've never played it.
You can only play 2-player if you summon with a Phantom, which...
Ooh! With a Phantom?
You have to summon Phantoms.
Oh, but you can have them come to your world and stuff.
You have to summon them with a white soapstone, or they have to invade, one of the two, which if they're invading, they're not on your side, so... I mean, it's sad to see the decline in just normal 2-player games. I really wish that they would come out with more games that were focused on just simple home 2-player fun.
Right, and most of the systems nowadays, if you truly think about it, they add like an element that you have to be online too when you do it. Like I noticed, like when I first played the Xbox One, brought it right out of the package. It was like, guess what? You need an internet connection. I'm like, how am I supposed to play this game? I don't have internet.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I feel like
that really irritated me at one point in time. And then I just started thinking, like, LOL, why the fuck did you buy an Xbox One in the first place?
That's a solid point. I mean, I've personally never been a fan of Xbox. Crucify me. I mean, I grew up mostly with PlayStation. My first console was a PlayStation.
It's had some decent online play, though. I mean... Because some of the games that I got merged into Xbox 360 on, like Final Fantasy 11, when I was playing that game online, I was actually playing it on the PS2. I went from computer to PS2 platform to play it, and then I moved from PS2 to Xbox 360 because it was the new thing to do. Better rendering.
Yeah, I mean...
And plus my PlayStation 2 crapped out after being on for at least 3 years straight without getting turned off.
True story. I mean, I feel like they used to make stuff that was a lot more lasting, too. Maybe that's just my experience, but in the more recent consoles that I've got, I don't feel like they last quite as long. Maybe that's just me, and maybe that's just nostalgia syndrome, but I usually feel that consoles that are a little bit older were a little more reliable. I mean, says the guy who went through 3 PlayStations in his day, but...
Well, can you truly think of a game for any of the modern systems now that have it just a 2-player game that is focused on being a 2-player game?
Well, you got stuff like COD, which I feel like...
Well, Call of Duty,
yeah,
in the long run, is online based still.
Mostly, yeah. I mean, I played it with a controller, but honestly...
I forgot that you could do like a play where you could, kind of have bots playing too while you're doing a multiplayer type universe. Ooh! I can understand that, but at the same time, it's not necessarily an element evolving around 2 players.
Generally, I feel like we're living in a less and less interactive society that's just slowly becoming more and more separated.
like they're actually saying, like, who the fuck plays 2-player games anymore?
Yeah, I mean, it's like
they just want to play games online away from
hey,
people.
I'll admit, I am the biggest introvert that you would ever meet, but I mean, I'm not even really that. I mean, I have a level of social anxiety that kind of keeps me from even playing like online without much issue. But
yeah,
I mean, I played MMOs and stuff, but it's just not really up my alley. It's just one of those things that...
What kind of MMOs did you play when you were playing them?
I played Rift for a little while. Do you know what Rift is?
I don't.
If I remember correctly, it was like a World of Warcraft break-off, where they broke off, and they, like, made their... Like, it was a section of Warcraft, they broke it off, and they made it their own game.
Okay.
I think. I may be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. It's been a long time since I played Rift. I didn't play very far into it. I only played, like, past the beginning stages... that I remember, because like the MMOs, just the way the MMOs work gets tired for me very quickly. I'm a much more single player oriented gamer, and so I naturally just kind of prefer having a nice shot there. But
I just everybody.
I just naturally prefer having a nice single player experience, like with the Elder Scrolls games, which I have over 600 hours in currently between Skyrim and Oblivion both.
Epic right there. That's a good chunk of time right there.
That is a ton of time. That countless days. I can't and I love just fucking around in games like that. Like just running around, just killing the guards and stuff is hilariously fun. And hearing their crappy voice acting, like Oblivion only has like 5 voice actors, and it's like
I believe it's the same way with Fallout though. If you truly think about it,
yeah.
Also. You hear the same guy trying to like cover up his voice, like, "Hi, my name is Joseph." Then the other one's like, "I'm Joseph."
Yeah, it's like, I mean, honestly, I enjoyed Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas. My biggest...
I really love the Fallout games. I mean,
yeah.
I haven't yet to play Fallout 4, but I've been wanting to play it so bad here lately. It's just... I cannot wait to do it. I've been not wanting to watch any Let's Plays or anything about it just for the fact.
And I wouldn't, because, like, it's an amazing game, but you gotta get it unspoiled, and you gotta get to it, like, when all the DLCs are out.
Right.
Then you can
That's more or less why I've been waiting
yeah,
more than anything, is for games like that, you just gotta wait. For a certain point in time, for everything to be out, for them to fix all the glitches, for everything that's going to irritate you so much about the game.
Oh, yeah, and Bethesda games are notorious for having just a ton of glitches. Like, Fallout New Vegas was just riddled with them. I can't tell you how many times I had to restart quests, and I had to restart the game just because it randomly crashed when I was fast-traveling somewhere.
That would irritate me.
That
really
pissed
bad.
me off to no end. I'd do like a freaking 4-hour quest. I'd spend like 4 hours just running around and I had a really slow play style. Like I would run around with a sniper and aim at everything from a super far distance. So I just got owned every time that thing decided not to work. And I got to a critical point in the storyline, and what happened was it just decided it wasn't going to load, so I had to use console commands to progress the quest.
Right.
And it was like, oh, the president of the NCR is dead. And I was like,
how the fuck did that happen?
I know. I was like, wait. Was
he just out for a stroll, get killed by a deathclaw? Like, oh shit!
I mean, I was the sad thing was, I'd spent the whole game allied with the NCR, and to have them all be like, "You let our president die. I hate you now." I was so pissed because I'd spent the whole game working with them, running around in my sick Ranger armor. I mean, that thing looked badass.
Oh, yeah. I did enjoy the Ranger armor on Fallout 3, but I felt like that was the only armor that really looked good besides, like, any, like, old school, any of the old school armors. They didn't really present to me any new factors. Like, besides an area that was a desert. Like, oh, I'm going to go explore some desert. Guess what? I'm going to go explore some more desert. Oh, a city that don't let you go into most places of it.
I look forward to you being able to see the power armors in Fallout 4 because they're a huge improvement over what was in Fallout 3 and New Vegas.
That just gives me a hard-on just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's so sexy.
Sexy freaking power armor.
You take no fall damage, you take reduced damage, you do, like, you can, like, beat the crap out of stuff.
That's freaking epic.
It's, like, oh, God, I won't spoil anything for you.
You hit me across the map with that missile.
I didn't shoot that one.
I guess that was Rip.
Yeah.
So what would you say that you would give this game on a scale to 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, and why would you give it that rating?
I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 because the fact is, I don't feel like the game really has too much of a story, but it's not really meant to be a story-driven game. It's more meant to be an SNES game that you just sit down and play with your buddy after school, you know, with your Walkman, just walking home, you know.
I would think I would enjoy playing this
playing
game.
Your Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. I'd probably play some Slayer listening to this game, or play this game while listening to Slayer, or some type of other heavy metal, or any type of rock in general, because that's what I love. Rock on.
I do too.
I love a little rap here and there if it's got a good beat. Now, I pretty much agree with your 8 out of 10 there, because I'm going to have to myself, what would I give it? I'm going to have to roll, because this is a big part of my childhood right here, playing this game. I'm gonna have to roll with I'm gonna have to roll with a 9 out of 10. I'm just gonna give it a 9 out of 10. And I'm kind of reaching out there, giving it a 9 out of 10 so far. And I probably shouldn't, but at the same time, this game has brought me so much joy. Somewhere along the line, like, I've spent countless hours playing the game, just having a good freaking time. Whether it's 2 players,
and I like the way that we've been able to bond over it too. I like the way that you and I have been able to enjoy it, just, you know, sitting here, just playing it as 2 people who haven't played this game in forever. I mean, I really had very little experience with the game.
It just takes a little bit to get used to.
Yeah, I'm a boss now.
I would still have to say, in the long run, I'm going to give this game 9 missiles out of 10. Because it's very epic when it comes down to just having fun. Just for its gameplay issues. I guess I wouldn't say it's an issue if it's a good gameplay.
And don't forget the Kick-Ass Rock soundtrack either. The Kick-Ass Rock soundtrack is great. I love the soundtrack in this game. It's unfortunate that we couldn't really turn it up because our recorder would make it like super freaking loud. But
right, and all the good old
got some sweet Black Sabbath
90s reference, 80s 90s bands references and stuff, and just makes you want to jam out. Nothing like hearing it in the good old SNES version of it.
There's something attractive about SNES music. I don't know. There's just really there is. There's something just really attractive about it.
So I would have to say, like, on a good element, this game has a lot of fun that you can play with someone else. You can always invite your friends over, like, hey, time for some good old 2-player Tuesday action.
And especially with the advent of the internet and emulation, now you don't have to own, you know, the newest console. All you have to do is just download a sweet emulator and download a sweet ROM and get yourself to rockin' and racing.
Rockin' and racing. I do enjoy the original, and it kind of depends on the debate on whether or not you're the emulation fag or you're just the good old school, I'm going to buy all the old school consoles and buy the games. you know, and waste a bunch of money. That's all on you. And there's people out there that do it, and there's people that love to do it. And I enjoy it myself because I'm that old school type of figure when it comes to games. Newer people not so much wanting to spend harder money on games like this, but at the same time, I would still spend every bit of money on this game because it's worth every freaking penny imaginable, just in the gameplay and the fun aspect. Like you said, it could have a really good storyline, but at the same time, I mean, it really don't need it. If you added a good storyline to this, it would either make it to where you're just sitting there like, why are we not playing? We're just sitting here, you know, reading shit all the time. Or during this time, you wouldn't really have as good of graphics to present a good story like this anyway.
Well, anyway, I mean, in the modern era, if you tried to remake this, you would not quite capture the glory of it because you'd lose the feel, because there's just something so fun and lighthearted about the early SNES days. There really is. And I understand why kids of that time were so attracted to this, because they come home from school and no longer did they have to just sit down and be bored and read Shakespeare or whatever. You know, I mean, not rapping on Shakespeare. I love my homeboy Shakespeare, but I love me some rock and roll racing too. But I mean, whenever you come home, you don't want to, sit down and read for 5 hours. You want to come home and play a sweet SNES game and beat the shit out of your friends, basically, without actually hurting them.
Very well said.
I mean, it's a great idea. I love the lightheartedness of the 80s and the 90s, and I feel like if America would get that back, we'd be much better off. Shit, I went the wrong way.
That's true. So, I'm going to have to say, this has been a really good game playthrough for Game Juggz on 2-Player Tuesdays. I would like to ask in the comments below that you tell us, what do you think of the game? What would you rate it on the scale from 1 to 10? And if you have any ideas on what type of games you would like us to play for 2-Player Tuesdays, do not be shy to ask. We might, somewhere down the line, take you up on that offer. Because we're always ready for a good time. And if it's 2-player action, we're going to be down to love on it.
Especially if it's like we're going to be doing some sweet Let's Plays too, just a little bit more sparingly. So if you have a suggestion for a slightly longer game, and you want it to be like a full series, we're open to suggestions for that too.
Absolutely.
We are all about having a good time here. And, I believe this has been the Game Juggz, hasn't it?
Yep. On the next episode of Game Juggz.